Hello friends, we hope you enjoy this video and find it beneficial, and if you do, please share it with your friends and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Thank you and enjoy watching. According to research, understanding things like body language is even more powerful than we may think. So of course, wouldn't it be great if we could simply learn how to read people? MIT found that the outcome of negotiations could be predicted by body language alone 87% of the time. But most of what we believe about body language and analyzing others is based on myth or guesswork, not real research. So, how can we learn how to read people the right way? Let's find out from experts and studies. Here's what we have done in the past. The author in The Silent Language of Leaders: How Body Language Can Help or Hurt How You Lead points out a number of common errors people make in reading people. Ignoring context. Crossed arms don't mean much if the room is cold or the chair they're sitting in doesn't have armrests. Everything has to pass the common sense test, given the environment. The question we should be asking ourselves is, should someone in this situation be acting like this? Not looking for clusters. One of the biggest errors we make is looking for one single tell. That's great in movies about poker players, but in real life, it's a consistent grouping of actions like sweating, touching the face, that is really going to tell you something. So ask yourself, are most of this person's behaviors associated with factor X? Not getting a baseline. If someone is always jumpy, then again the act of jumpiness doesn't say anything. If someone is always jumpy and they suddenly stop moving, then we need to ask ourselves, is this how they normally act? Not being conscious of biases. If you already like or dislike the person, it's going to affect your judgment, especially if people compliment you, are similar to you, are attractive. We all think that we don't fall for those tricks, but these can really sway us unconsciously, and the biggest bias of all is thinking we are unbiased. After taking all that into consideration in reading people, when can you trust your gut? When to trust your instincts? The good news is that first impressions are usually pretty accurate. The bad news? Whether they are wrong or right, first impressions affect us in a big way, and we are slow to change them. According to Sam Gosling, a personality psychologist at the University of Texas and author of the book Snoop, first impressions are often quite helpful, but you have to be willing to update them quite rapidly. That's what's very hard to do. Studies show if someone seems extroverted, confident, religious, or conscientious, they probably are. And if they're good looking, trust your instincts even more. Overall, people do judge a book by its cover, but a beautiful cover prompts a closer reading, leading more physically attractive people to be seen both positively and more accurately. Also consider the word I because it can be very telling. Powerful people don't say it much. Those that are less powerful say it the most. Now that we have taken all that into account, here are a few ways to read people that are backed by research. 1. Is this person trustworthy? Of course, people trying to deceive or manipulate you are going to fake signals that they are trustworthy. So we need to focus on unconscious behaviors that aren't easily controlled and convey a clear message. In Honest Signals: How They Shape Our World, the authors mentioned one to keep your eye on. Speech mimicry and behavioral mimicry. Are they using the same words you use? Speaking at a similar speed and tone? Are they sitting the way you sit? Is a subtle unconscious game of follow the leader going on? This is a sign the other person feels emotionally in sync with you. It can be faked, but that's difficult to pull off across an entire conversation. 2. Is this person up to no good? In general, we are usually not reading people because we are worried about our physical safety. But how can we tell if someone is going to cheat or mislead? The first and maybe the most important thing we need to do is to pay attention. A simple bit of motivation can make a real difference, and that is because when we're motivated, we suddenly become much better judges of character. We become much better able to read cues and are able to ignore those that don't matter. And there's a consistent cluster of behaviors like hand touching, face touching, crossing arms that has been seen among people who are trying to cheat. And together, those behaviors may transform into a highly accurate signal, even though none of those cues foretold deceit by itself. 3. Are they flirting? Research shows that women are more successful in their flirting when they're more direct. At the same time, guys that are less attractive consistently overestimate how interested women are in them. But the more attractive guys tended to have a more realistic assessment. Also, Both men and women deepen their voice when speaking with someone of the opposite sex that they find attractive. Touching is another clear sign to look for. Most flirtatious behavior is started by the soft face touch, followed by the touch around the shoulder or waist, and then the soft touch on the forearm. The least flirtatious and romantic touches were the shoulder push, shoulder tap, and handshake. In conclusion, here is how to read people 101. Don't make the usual mistakes. Take context, clusters, baseline, and biases into consideration. First impressions are often accurate. With a number of traits, you can trust your gut, but you must know which ones. Trust mimicry and emotional expression as long as they are sustained and consistent. Awful people have tells, so pay attention to them and look for narcissists. Deepening voice and touching says flirting. True for both men and women. And so, now that we've been through a dizzying amount of research on reading others, how can you make yourself come off well when others read you? Do you need to pay more attention to your body language? Not really, since there are many other tells. According to Olivia Fox-Cabane, author of The Charisma Myth, trying to control your facial expression is not just impossible, it will even backfire. Since some micro-expressions will be incongruent with the main expression, they'll give the impression that something is not quite right, and you can end up seeming fake, which of course ruins trust and charisma. Our body language and the signals we send are determined by what's inside our head. If we change how we feel inside, then the radiation will follow. In the end, it really is what's on the inside that matters. We can wear a mask and hide it, we may even shape and smooth it, but how long can we go on doing that? We definitely cannot go on our entire lives that way. Olivia further stated, the same way that athletes get themselves into the zone, you get yourself into a mental zone of whatever body language you want to emanate. And that way it will cascade through your body from whatever mindset that you want it to get. So it really is mind over matter in the sense that whatever's on your mind will come out through your body language.